Hi Saphir, I'm going to show you how to install the JSON extension into VS Code and then how to check our JSON file. So right now I'm going to start up Visual Studio Code, and this is a little bit different on the Mac, but basically you go to the main menu and you want to select Preferences and then select Extensions. In the extensions, we're going to search for JSON, and you can see that there's an extension called JSON 2.0.2. I'm going to click on Install, and that extension is now installed into Visual Studio Code. I can close that window, and I'm going to create a new file, and then I'm going to go to our Google Doc, and I'm going to select all and then copy, and then I'm going to paste it back into Visual Studio Code, and then I have to save it. So I have to save it as a JSON file. So I'm just going to call it Empire menu JSON, and actually JSON, and then I have to give it the extension JSON. So that saves it as a JSON file. Once it's a JSON file, I can come over to the toolbar over here, and I can select JSON, and this will now show me a view of the file in JSON. So over here we can see that we've got our fields: venue, city, state, postal code, country. Those are equivalent to these fields right there. Then we have an array of menus, and in our case we just have one menu defined. Its name is standard menu. If I click on the arrow, this will open up that menu, and it will show me that the menu has the name standard menu, and it shows that the menu has 16 categories. And I can go into category, the first one, appetizers, and I can see that there are 16 items defined for appetizers. The first one is the steamed edamame, and I can see our ingredients, and I can see our price. So this tool is a way to explore JSON, but more importantly, this tool doesn't work if the JSON is not correct. And if the JSON is not correct, Visual Studio will show an error. For example, if I forget to put a comma right there, Visual Studio will flag this statement, ingredients, as being a mistake. And it will tell me, if I hover over it, it will tell me expected comma. So it's showing me that there's a JSON error, and the error is that a comma was missing. So I put the comma back in, and then everything is okay. But this is a very, very good tool to verify that the JSON is correct. When I fixed our file, I noticed that some of the quotation marks were invalid, and they were invalid because I was using a fixed font in order to get the menu data to line up in columns. You can only do that if you're using fixed fonts. But the fixed font that I was using, let's see here if I can, there's a way to show this. I'll show you over here. I had originally, well, let's see if we go to our text file. What's this? So this is the Empire menu, and the Empire menu in text is using a fixed font, and because it's fixed, the columns actually align. If I did not use a fixed font, the column information would not align properly. This is actually, I guess that's Arial. Huh. Well, anyways, in the process, if you pick the wrong font, these quotes can end up being a different type of quote, and it's a quote that JSON does not understand. You may not run into this problem, but if you do, this editor will show you the errors, and it will show you that something is invalid. Anyways, that's the process. You basically install the JSON extension, create a JSON file, and then copy from our Google Doc over to Visual Studio Code, and just verify that you click on JSON to enable the extension, and then you should be able to see that it's a valid document, and you should be able to take a look at the document structure right there. That's it. So please get used to Visual Studio Code and get used to this extension, and you might want to explore other extensions for your own purposes. There are lots of different things. There's a pretty JSON, which will actually reformat the JSON code so that it's arranged more properly. And I think I may have used that actually to get this formatted correctly in the first place. But there are lots of different things. Fixed JSON will attempt to fix it for you if there's a mistake, but it doesn't really work that well. But there are many things to explore here. Anyways, that is about it.